Good morning, students. Let us continue with the night of Scorpio. Now, in light of Scorpio, in previous video, in last video, we already discussed about some of the superstitions which prevailed which are prevailing in our country, we can say, or in the village or in the countryside. Along with that, we discussed about the poet Nazim Hkil. Now, Nazim Hkil is a very famous poet. We all know is a renowned poet. Now, today in today's video, let us talk about the poem. The poem depicts a selfless love of a mother who is stung by a scorpio. Now, what happens in this poem? A mother is stung by a scorpio, and finally we see that how selfless love, a selfless love of a mother, how a mother is all the time thinks about his children's only, though she is in a danger of in the face of a death, in the face of a danger also, she always thinks about her children's. So a selfless and endless love of a mother we are going to see in this poem. Now, before going into the poem, I would like to tell you that this is a kind of a narrative poem. This is a narrative kind of poem. Now, what is narrative kind of poem? So, narrative kind of poem is actually written actually it is written like an lesson or like an essay. Okay, narrative poems are actually they are poems, but they are written in a way as if it is a lesson or a essay, like a story it is given, and such poems are called as a narrative poem. So, this is also a narrative poem. Let us see. Narrative poems are generally easy to understand because it is like a paragraph only, or it is like a essay. So when we read it line by line, we are able to understand easily. I hope all of you will also understand this. So let us start the poem. Okay. Now what the poet says, I remember the night my mother was stung by a scorpio. 10 hours of steady rain had driven him to crawl beneath the sack of rice. Parting with his poison, flash of diabolic tail in a dark room, he risked the rain again. The peasants came like swarm of flies and buzzed the name of God 100 times to paralyze the evil one. Now, one more thing is there are a lot of figure of speeches are there in this poem. Okay. Some antitheses, onomatopoeias, hyperboles, transfer epithets are used in this poem along with simile and metaphor, obviously. So let us see what the first stanza says. The first stanza says, I remember the night my mother was stung by a scorpio. And he says, I remember now, the poet is grown up now, he is grown up, means he is a poet now, and is remembering that night when her mother was stung by a scorpio. Understood? He is remembering that, and he is writing the poem in the form of a paragraph, we can say, or that's why it is a narrative poem, because he is narrating what incident had happened in his childhood. Now, one more thing I would like to tell you that Nazim Hkil was basically living in South India, and when he was small, during that time he was living in a village, and that is why he had seen village life very closely, which he is depicting here. Okay. So he says 10 years before, when I was small, I remember when I was small, my mother was stung by a scorpio, and that what happened? 10 hours of steady rain, and which day it was? So it was the day when continuously for 10 hours incessant rain was going on, and a steady rain had driven him to crawl beneath the sack of rice. And because heavy rain was, or steady rain was going outside for 10 hours outside the house, and because of that, this scorpio, he did not get any place to hide himself, and that is why he came inside his home. Understood? He came inside his house in that rain, and taking the advantage of the dark, he crawled himself beneath the sack of rice. In villages, generally sack of rice, धान से भरे पोते रखे होते, चावल से भरे. So sacks were there, bora, Okay, Pota Bora. So that boras were kept, and he came and he hid himself under that one of the sack. Parting with his poison, Flash, a diabolic tale in a dark room, he risked the rain again. And what happened? He entered on the rainy night. In a dark, he entered in a poet's house and he hid himself in a sack of rice. After that, what happened? Mother, for some reason, she went near the sack of rice, and there only he stung. Okay, so how he stung? The parting with his poison, flash of a diabolic tale in a dark room. The room was dark. We can understand. In villages generally there is no electricity, and then this is a poem which was written around 1960-65. This Nizam Iskil wrote this poem around 1965. During that time, we everyone knows the condition of Indian villages were not was so good, and there was no facility of electricity during that time in India, or especially in Indian villages. And during night time there used to be dark only. So in dark, when the mother went near that sack, so what he did, he parting with his poison, means he stung. Parting means given. He parting, sorry, he given the poison, or he stung the mother. Flash of a diabolic tale, and from where he gave the, or he stung the mother, or he gave the poison to the mother from his diabolic tale. Now diabolic means qualities of having devil, or devil qualities. So the poet has described his tale, understood his tale as a diabolic tale. Why diabolic tale? Because that tale was filled with or full of poison. So he stung his mother with his diabolic tale in the dark room. Okay, and after stinging, what he did, he risked the rain again. Means again he went outside the house. In the dark only, once again what he did, he went outside the house. Means he risked the rain, and outside there was rain. So again he risked his life in the rain, means he went outside the home or house. Third stanza. The peasants came like a swarm of flies and buzzed the name of a god 100 times to paralyze the evil one. Now what happened after that? When this news, when the scorpion stung, and mother was suffering, or mother started having the pain of that poison, and when the father and the family member, they started informing the villagers, the news of stinging the Scorpio was spread in a village like a forest fire. And as the peasants came to know that his mother, poet's mother was stung by Scorpio, they started coming to the poet's house. And when they were coming, how they were appearing means, because he is poet, so he is just imagining. Okay, we know poets generally imagines in a very different way. So he is imagining, and how he is imagining the number of people when he is coming to his home. How he is imagining? He is saying that the peasants came like a swarm of flies. He was considering when the people were coming in a group, people were coming. So he was saying, it seems that the people were coming like a swarm of flies. Now peasants come like a swarm of flies is an example of simile. Easily you can understand that. Okay, and buzzed the name of a god 100 times. And what they used to do, they came and they started buzzing the name. What they did, they buzzing the name of a god 100 times. Now here two figure of speeches are there. Buzzing the name is they started taking the name of god. Buzz, again I am saying buzzing is a word which creates a sound. It is an example of onomatopoeia. Okay, so they buzz the name of a god 100 times, and 100 of times these villagers were taking the name of a god. And what prayer, taking the name is, they were doing prayer to the god. And what prayer they were doing to the god? So they were praying to the god to paralyze the evil one. And they were praying to the god, oh god, please paralyze that Scorpio. Please paralyze that Scorpio. Why? Because it is said that once the Scorpio stings, and after his tongue, if he moves, the more pain the person having, which means जिसको उसने क्या बोलते हैं, काटना नहीं, डंक मारा है, बिच्छू ने जिसको भी डंक मारा है, तो क्या होता है, जब बिच्छू उसके बाद जितना ज़्यादा चलता है उतना उस इंसान को पेन होता है, और वो एक ही जगह पे रहेगा तो पेन ज़्यादा नहीं होता। इसीलिए जनरली क्या होता है, अगर किसी को बिच्छू ने काट दिया तो सबसे पहले बिच्छू को मार देते। क्यों? ताकि वो चले नहीं। अगर वो चलेगा तो क्या होगा, जो जिस इंसान को उसने डंक मारा है उसको काफ़ी तकलीफ होगी। द सेम यहाँ भी हो रहा है। द पीजेंट्स आर कमिंग, द villagers are coming, and they were praying to the gods hundreds and hundred of times that please, oh God, paralyze that evil one. Evil one is considered here as, किसको बोला evil one? To the scorpion. Okay, I hope we are not able to complete this poem because this is a big poem. We'll complete this in the next video. Okay, till then, have a nice day.